Day 16 of 60 in the Cloud Security Challenge. Right now, your AWS account is probably out of compliance, and you won't find out until an auditor or an attacker tells you. Open SSH on a security group, a public S3 bucket, an IAM role with action, *. Today we turn AWS Config from a checkbox report into a live enforcement engine, managed rules, a custom Python evaluator, and event bridge auto-remediation. Let me show you a demo account lit up red, then fix it without touching a thing. Here's the dashboard, 11 and ON_compliant resources. Most teams enable config, get flooded, and never act. The problem isn't detection, it's prioritization and remediation. So let's understand the moving parts first. Config has three pieces: the recorder, which tracks every resource configuration change, the delivery channel, which ships snapshots to S3 and notifies SNS, and the rules engine, which evaluates resources against your policies and stamps each one compliant or non-compliant over time. That timeline is the key feature. It's a continuous audit trail, not a snapshot. Let's deploy it as code. In Terraform, AWS_config_configuration_recorder turns on recording for all resource types, and recording_group, all_supported equals true. Pair it with AWS_config_delivery_channel pointing at an S3 bucket, add a lifecycle policy so snapshots expire after 90 days, and an SNS topic for alerts. Then drop in three managed rules: EC2, security, group, restricted, SSH, S3, bucket, public, read, prohibited, and IAM root access keycheck. Bundle them in a conformance pack so every account in your org gets the identical baseline. Run Terraform apply, and config starts evaluating within minutes. That's reproducible compliance across hundreds of accounts. Managed rules cover the basics, but real risk hides in IAM. Let's write a custom rule in a Python lambda that flags wildcard policies. Config invokes your function with an event. You parse event, invoking event, to get the resource configuration, an IAM role and its inline and attached policies. Loop every policy statement and check, does it have action equal to * and resource equal to * in the same statement? If so, that role can do anything to everything. You call config.put_evaluations, returning compliance type of non_compliant with an annotation like statement sid admin all grants action * on resource *. That annotation is what makes a finding actionable instead of noise. Let's test it against a real role. I've got legacy deploy role with a statement that's action, * resource, *. I trigger an evaluation with AWS config service start config rules evaluation, config rule names wildcard IAM check. Refresh, and there it is, non_compliant, with our annotation pointing at the exact statement. No guessing which of 200 roles is the problem. The evaluator did the triage for us, and because it's a lambda, you extend the logic anytime, privilege escalation paths, missing permission boundaries, whatever your threat model needs. Detection without remediation is just a prettier report. Let's close the loop. Config emits a compliance change event, we catch it with event bridge. The event pattern filters source to aws.config, detail type to config rules compliance change, and detail.newEvaluationResult.compliance type to non_compliant, scope to specific rule names so you don't auto-remediate everything blindly. That rule targets an SSM automation document, AWS Disable Public Access for Security Group, which revokes the open ingress. The execution role gets a tight boundary, only EC2, revoke security group ingress on tagged resources, nothing more. Least privilege for your robots too. Watch it run. I open port 22 to 0.0.0.0.0/0 on a test security group. Config flags it non_compliant in seconds, event bridge fires, SSM automation revokes the rule automatically. No human, no ticket, no Slack thread. And from the CLI you can prove it. AWS Config Service Get Compliance Details by Resource Type AWS EC2 Security Group Resource ID SGXXXX to query the timeline, or list everything failing across your org with Get Aggregate Compliance Details by Config rule. And here's the payoff. The compliance timeline shows that security group flipped from an ON_compliant back to compliant, with no manual action recorded. That's the difference between auditing your cloud and defending it. Managed rules for the baseline, custom Lambda for real risk, Event Bridge plus SSM to fix it live. Day 16 done. Key takeaway: config is an enforcement loop, not a report. Wire detection straight into remediation. Subscribe for day 17.